channel. My name is Monette, and this is my channel, Evolve with Monette. For those of you that are new here, I am a professional intuitive empath, and today we're going to get right into it. On this channel, we kind of break apart information via pop culture examples or our real life personal examples. I work with clients all over the world every day, and it gives me a lot of material. But right now, we have something playing out in front of us, and I got to shout out Jess Theory and Mr. Chalk both. Jess Theory is a parasocial friend here who has a channel. She's out of Canada. Go check her out. She's a PhD person who, it's a weird phrase. I'm not sure if she's officially finished or if she's still a student, but she's working on her PhD, I do believe. And correct me in the comments if I'm incorrect, Jess, about your status, because I want to get that right for you. But Jess just put up a video about the psychology of Johnny Depp, and I was watching it, and I've been thinking about the trial, probably like a lot of you guys have too. And she's giving a really in-depth psychological breakdown about trauma bonding, why he was so comfortable, all the things that we have talked about in any relationship that is toxic. So that's good information there. But it got me to thinking yesterday to a conversation I had with Mr. Chalk here on the channel. Mr. Chalk and I were chatting about why masculines behave badly. Mr. Chalk is from West Africa, not South Africa, and he was chiming in, and he is a man, so he was giving his honest opinion about the toxicity that masculines crave, create, replicate, and demand or provoke at times. And I thought it was a really powerful message. And he asked me, why did I divest? For those of you new to my channel, I have dealt with all kinds of narcissists, but the most recent was several years ago, three to be exact, and I left the relationship. I did the discard before they could discard me, which was what they were working on anyway, silently, quietly. We all know how that goes. They're always grooming a new supply. And Mr. Chalk asked me, why did you divest? What made you divest? Now, I've talked about it randomly in other videos, and he asked me the question, and it took me about 8 minutes of like prattling before I could really get to what really was the final trigger for me. But when I thought about it last night, the overarching reason that I divested is because that person was an agent of chaos in my life. And specifically, what triggered me to want to make this video was before I even started watching Jess's video, I commented that the Johnny Depp and Amber Heard trial is a literal poop show. You know, I put the poop emoji down in her comments, and I said it's just been, crazy to see what's happening. And the reason I say that is because if you're not following the trial, Amber Heard actually shit Johnny's bed and then blamed it on his very tiny teacup Yorkies, I do believe. Correct me if I've got the breed wrong in the comments. So she was such a psychopath. And it's not to say that Johnny does not and has not done things, but listen, any of us that have been abused can look at someone in a relationship and know when they're being abused. It doesn't mean we always know, right? But when the ugly details start to unravel and come out, we know what we're looking at. But we all have our own past histories with our abusers, and whether they were friends, family, whatever the case may be. And so when I was looking at that with Johnny, I was like, oh yeah, you are definitely dealing with a psychopath. Now, I thought that several years ago when all the details started to come out and she was going for his throat, and I was like, this is Johnny Depp's karmic. And I was going to make a video about this, and I still will. And I think I talked about that yesterday in my live. This is Johnny Depp's karmic, if ever there was, okay? He had a relationship, and our relationships don't last forever. I'm not, we're not supposed to be with the same person we started out with forever. Some of us are lucky to get that. But what I'm saying is that this is karmic behavior through and through and through. So there's a few ways that I could teach and talk to you about this. But the first thing is to know is that this person is clearly a narcissist. Does Johnny Depp have fault here? Absolutely. Was he wild and badly behaved? Yes. Was he addicted? Yes. Was he coping with his own issues with his mom, which were immense? Yes. There are a lot of things that I can say about what I'm watching with Johnny Depp. What I won't say is that he is naturally an abusive human. What Amber Heard is naturally a manipulative, abusive psychopath. And I recognized her because I recognized my ex. Now let's talk about the and I recognized my exes next too. It was fascinating. Well, let's talk about this part here, the agent of chaos. She would record him at his most vulnerable moments. She would set him up. She would set him up and provoke him to sit back and watch him so that she could build the case, because she was like, I'm going to get this guy. She has a history of dating high profile, very wealthy men. And she's not the first woman that's ever done that. So there's, I can't say that there is something wrong with her psychology for that per se. But what I can say is that she definitely saw Johnny as a mark, and she was able to see his weakness. She probably studied him. Narcissists are good for that, understood his history with his mother, knew exactly what triggers, exactly how to be a psychopath. Something that he talked about in the trial struck me particularly, where he said that Amber, he every day he took off his boots and Amber would take them off. Like, he wouldn't take off his boots, Amber would. Amber would take off his boots, and she was like, this is my job. And he was like, okay. And so one day she was busy, so he took off his own boots. And Amber didn't like that. She came over and she was like, what are you doing? And he's like, you were busy, so I'm taking off my boots. And he said he'd never experienced such treatment before in his life. Now, I think this is really interesting because this is specifically, not every narcissist is going to take off your boots, guys. So hear me out here. But what I mean is that uh, it was a love bomby, weird kind of thing about nurturing and mothering. She is a thorough psychopath, to say the least here, guys, I would say. But anyway, she took off his boots, and she did that, and he absolutely got like dressed down because excuse me, he took off his boots, and she wasn't around, and he was dressed down. I don't know why that struck me, but I was like, she's fucking crazy. I don't know why. I just like, all of the other things, yes, but something about that was so controlling and so grooming, and I understood it, but I didn't. And also his brain clicked into it too, as a particularly strange exchange between them as well. She also played on his vulnerabilities and whatever. Listen, I'm not always siding with men, because there are definitely men narcissists for sure. My father was one, but this girl's a narcissist if ever there was, and she's like, I want Sam Venkin to break her down. Actually, Dr. Sam Venkin, Professor Sam Venkin, he has a channel here as well where he does a brilliant job. He's written the books. All the books we talk about, all the textbooks, all the terminology we use were coined mainly by Dr. Sam Venkin, who has a channel here on YouTube. Him and Richard Grannon do a lot of work together. Richard Grannon and him became buddies, but Sam Venkin's really the preeminent person here to pay attention to regarding the educational side of narcissism. So when someone is an agent of chaos in your life, they will go out of their way to create scenarios where you can't win, where you don't win, where you feel horrible, where you feel alienated, where they trigger your abandonment issues. They will figure out what issues you have with self-esteem, with people pleasing, and they're going to push the buttons, and they push them over and over and over and over and over again until they get the reaction they want. Now, a narcissist that is really licking their I would say licking their wounds, they're not licking yours, that's really kind of like chuffed with themselves. That's a better phrase for that. Really pleased with themselves and quite smug. And when Mr. Chalk asked me why I divested, really it could boil down to one word: smugness. See, that's a personal pet peeve for me. No matter where my self-esteem was, under the ground, buried under a tree, under the doormat, people that are entitled are an immediate turnoff to me, because I believe in working hard for everything, including your relationships. Not working hard in some laborious way, but working hard, meaning I'm here not to play. I'm showing up day to day. I'm doing the work, right? Like that. And my ex was smug. My XD bestie, whatever you want to call her, she was smug AF. She was entitled. She thought very highly of herself. It's laughable, because she was not any of those things. As most narcissists, they are terrified that people will see behind the mask. She was so I can't even find enough words to say what she wasn't, but she was really like, thought she was like the cat's meow, and she thought she was really good looking, and a lot of things that were up for debate. It wasn't that she wasn't charming or didn't have her moments when she was great, but it was that her attitude and smugness and her entitledness and her con artistry were disgusting to me. In any case, I didn't want an agent of chaos in my life. And some of you guys have agents of chaos in your life. I don't care if it's your kids, if it's your husband, your wife, your mom, your dad. When I say divest, I'm talking about everybody. And I'm not saying leave everybody. This is not a cult we're starting over here and come to me. No. You should have multiple people that you're listening to. That's why I recommended you to Jess Theory and other people I can vouch for. Message, quick aside. There are some times where I will say, go to someone's channel, but I need you to use use your discernment. Because there are times when people do things that I have found disturbing after I've been like, go to someone's channel. And I thought, why would they do this? And it's not what I would do. But listen, guys, I'm not them and they're not you. We all have our own free will. So just because I like somebody doesn't mean, or I in a moment give validation, because I had someone email me because they went to someone's channel and they saw something that was triggering for them. And they were like, you recommended this person. And then I realized the great weight that any person has, that has a platform. Like I'm like, oh, a handful of people show up here and watch this, but someone reached out to me and they were like, this really triggered me, and I went there because you said to do it. So it gave me pause to think about like how I recommend people and what else. So that's maybe a little message that someone needs to hear here. Please use your own discernment when you go over there, wherever over there is. Okay. And no, it's not just Siri. I'm still highly recommending her. I have found her to be consistent and funny and introspective. However, back to the message at hand. Agents of chaos are in your life to destroy your land, and it could be friend, family, but they definitely are always a foe. They are people that you not only do not want to know, that you want to get away from you, because what they're doing is they're setting you up. And in the last year, year that I was dealing with that situation, I was watching the agent of chaos in my life set me up. I was watching her gaslight me to my face, not to my face, be what's the word, avoidant of direct communication that would easily clear things up, wanting to create chaos because she felt whatever grudge. With a narcissist, you never know what's going to set them off. And so I started to study her under a petri dish. I would listen to things that she would say, and that's the thing about getting away too from a narcissist, is you will start to think in the narcissist kind of way. So she would say things to me specifically like about Grey's Anatomy and about you're my person and whatever. And I knew that she was gaslighting me. I knew that she was grooming me. And I knew that she wanted me to be completely involved with her, utterly and completely. I also knew that she liked the comfort of me being there to clean up her messes. And every time she would say that, in my head, I was checking out, in a new way. And that's my advice for you guys here, too, that are divulging, excuse me, divesting from, what do you need to divulge? Divesting from narcissistic relationships. You should have a year out plan. If you can't leave immediately and you're not strong enough to, because a lot of us have addictions with them, trauma bonds and addictions, and we're kind of like latched in from an energetic, etheric cord. If you want to talk about it biblically, there is a cord, a soul tie, if you will. It's not easy, and it's not as easy as everybody thinks. Oh, just break up with them and move on. If you've been in a good old juicy narcissistic relationship where it's gone on years and years and years, no matter what the dynamic was, they will tap into your fears, and one of those fears will be abandonment. So I planned leaving. I knew I was supposed to leave 3 years before I left. Can I say that? And I started scripting it. So I started writing it down and saying, I'm out of here and I deserve better, and calling in my real soulmate, my real person who was a go getter, who was going to match my energy. But it took me the year before to be so disgusted with that person that I could actually leave properly. And I started planning it just like an abused wife would plan a leave if you know your husband's controlling the money. I didn't understand our energetic currency fully because was still connected. Also, message: the sooner you separate from an agent of chaos, the better you feel. I mean, yes, the sooner if you can. But as soon as you do, the promise is still real and it stands. You will feel better. You will feel relief and you will have clarity. The first couple weeks were tough. The first month was tough. The first couple months, it got a little easier. By month 3, 4, 5, and 6, it turned from any kind of pity, any kind of concern, any kind of trauma bond into burn, baby, burn. You understand? You absolutely get clarity about how terrible they were to you, but you can't do it when you're up underneath them too. You have to set a plan away. Also, the bonus of that is your abundance goes up, really quickly. You really get boost from the universe. It's almost like they're like for your pain and suffering compensation. Back to Amber Heard and Johnny Depp regarding compensation. He was suing her for 50 million. She countersues him for 100 million. She doesn't want anything. Well, she wants everything. That's not true. She doesn't need anything, I should say. But she wanted all of this attention. If you watch her, she's creepy. And I mentioned this in the other video. She's mimicking Johnny's mannerisms, down to the rings on his fingers, down to the hair pulled back, down to the glasses that she's never used before. She lied absolutely regarding Milani. And Milani happens to be one of my fave alaves, y'all. If anybody's ever complimented me on a lipstick, I'm wearing Milani always. I have MAC and I have all the rest of the best ones that are in the industry. I use every single thing. I love makeup and cosmetic stuff. However, Milani does me so good with their lipstick mattes and creams. Love them so much. Have some coming today. So anyway, I was like, Milani, you're getting the shot out of your life here. It was a little secret I discovered many years ago, and I was like, this stuff is the best. And I tried Jeffree Star's products before he was as problematic as he was. Well, wasn't he always problematic? And I tried everybody's. I have some Fenty too. I use a lot of Fenty products for my skincare and stuff. I find that to be really good. And her lip products as well. But that Milani is the best of the best. Anyway, she talked about using a Milani quad to do color corrector, and the lawyer was like, she's carried this in her purse since 20 whatever whatever. Well, it didn't even come out till 2016. They were divorced and over with by 2016. It didn't come out till 2017, excuse me. And everybody was like proving that on TikTok and everything else. This girl's just a straight up liar, and I knew that she was crazy AF when I saw her years ago, because I, like I said, I recognized my person in her. Now, how many of you guys recognize your person in Amber Heard? Do you see someone that is setting you up, someone that is gaslighting you, someone who purposely wants to make you look like a fool, someone who is trying to make you second guess why they're there with you, but make you think that they are there to help you? She was so crazy, so entitled. And that's usually where the narcissist fails and falls. For me, anyway, that's where this person could never prevail in my case. And that's why I divested, because I was like, you are working against me actively. I'm never going to be able to build with you. I'm never going to be able to have synergy. I'm never going to be able to get anywhere. I didn't realize how much being in just the connection of her energy was holding me back, how much it was creating an atmosphere of lack and poverty consciousness, and it was. And as soon as I left her, boom, everything went up. I've said it a million times. I can't say it enough. You need to understand that our energetic connection to people really changes things. I love stuff. For an example, I love things. I keep myself off the edge of hoarding, but I love a nice thing. Luxury is in my soul. My moon sign is Taurus, which rules luxury. The moniker or the mantra for Taurus would be I have, and I am a Leo sun sign. Both fixed. The mantra for Leo is I am. So I'm all about like self-willing betterment out of myself, self-esteem, bringing myself out, picking myself up off the dust, picking myself up from my bootstraps. But I'm also about a nice luxury thing. Leos and Tauruses love luxury. So that means I like nice things. That means I work hard for that. But it means that I can accumulate a lot. And I say this here, just a little diversion for anybody that needs to hear it. It's spring, and I've been spring cleaning. Now, it's funny and interesting because I haven't been able to do that. For the last several months, I have been incapacitated and pretty much only able to lay. And as day by day, I've been rehabbing and getting stronger and sitting up and walking around and getting back to life. It's been so wonderful. I don't take it for granted. But I purged. My angels talk to me. Yes, guys, that are new here, I talk to angels. They talk to me too. And your angels talk to you too. But they were like, hey, girl, you have stuff to do. You have businesses to continue to build. You have a new way to be, and we need you to purge just expeditiously. In any case, so I did. And so the last few days have been all about purging bags and bags of stuff, taking it to Goodwill, taking electronics to Best Buy, doing all the things that I needed to do so that I could expand and grow in other ways. Because when you create space, you create room. Why did I get on this tangent about that? Oh, yes, energy. So my bestie that I manifested all those years ago, when I had no idea who she was going to be or where she'd show up, when I was just knowing that I had had enough with my agent of chaos and crazy. My bestie's a minimalist, like clean spaces, all the rest of that. Now, study your Chinese zodiac. I'm a metal monkey. I give you guys a lot of information here. It's so important to know all of the parts of your chart in every capacity, from Vedic to Chinese astrology to Western, okay? It really helps you put together a better picture of yourself. Well, I'm a metal monkey. Metal monkeys like really clean spaces, white and metal, and they like to live by bodies of water, lakes. This calms us. Well, I also have a lot of fire and a lot of other things in my chart. So that means that I wasn't so much about the minimalist part. My bestie is a minimalist, and I have found myself seeking sleeker, cleaner, emptier spaces. Now, that doesn't mean I'm going to get rid of all my stuff. That Taurus is in me. I do love my luxury. I do love the nice things. I do love a dinner party. That Leo part, that's dinner party energy for sure. So is it for Taurus. So I will not completely be just having an empty house and living with like a beanbag. That's not me. But because my bestie's energy is that, it's kind of, I'm attracted to it, and I find that it has worth and value for me. Our vibrations of money are the same regarding our psychic and connection and whatever. My point is that the people that you spend the most time around will affect you, whether you think they are or not. So we are sharing all kinds of interesting things that are part of our personality to some degree, but maybe they're being enhanced or strengthened now that we are in union, actually. So that's the same thing for any agent of chaos. The same thing is true, right? So you will pick up their habits, you will pick up the things they do, and then you will start to be infected with their chaos. Johnny was probably always chaotic in his way and dealt with addiction and was passive and had a lot of issues from his mom, but it wasn't until Amber came along that it started to explode into the world because she's messy that way. She likes mess and chaos. With the agent of chaos in my life, they were attracted to a death agent, and so it caused deaths in every way, actually, physically, figuratively, romantically, energetically, familially. It caused endings completely because she hooked up with someone who was in the matching vibration of death and decay. And she had no idea. I did, but I didn't stay. Agents of chaos will actually not just ruin your day, they'll ruin your life. And they do it insidiously. The Blair Witch Project comes up. It came up yesterday, creepily. You will not even realize. But the thing that bothered me the most, to answer Mr. Chalk's question, and get closer to the answer, is that she was doing it purposely. That is the thing that creeped me out. And that's the thing that I'm watching with Johnny and Amber. She purposely wanted him to be spun out. She purposely wanted the world to see him as this incapacitated, ambling man, an old fat man. She was berating him. She was gaslighting him. I didn't hit you that hard. My agent of chaos said the same thing to me when I called her out on behavior that she was doing when she was being sexually predatory and aggressive to me repeatedly. And she was like, it wasn't that bad. I didn't do it that much. First, she denied it completely, full gaslighting. And then she ratcheted it down to, it didn't happen as much as you say. Gaslighting in every way, fucking psychopaths and sociopaths. There is nothing else to say. When that happened, just like Johnny, I was like, boop, 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 I'm out of here. For real. I had lingered and I had languished and I had scripted and I had prayed and I had hoped for something different and I had gone up when I should have stayed my ass at my house. I had done everything except for hear the lying gaslights come out of her mouth. And I guess maybe that was the final puzzle piece for me. What will be the final puzzle piece for you? And the reason I get on here with such vitriol and such passion is because I never want anyone to go through what I went through. And what I went through when I'm listening to Johnny wasn't even near as bad as what it can be. And so some of you guys have had the worst of it, and some of you guys have had experiences like me, and some have had lesser than me. We all have different ways, but it's still trauma because we all are processing what injures us differently. So what is trauma to you? Agents of chaos are insidious. Agents of chaos are purposely cruel. Agents of chaos triangulate you. Agents of chaos do smear campaigns. Agents of chaos lie on you. Agents of chaos try to gang up with others on you. They believe in groupthink. Agents of chaos don't think for themselves. They think selfishly from a very devil oriented energy. Agents of chaos will bring other terrible train wreck people. I'm thinking of Train Spotting, that movie, if you guys have seen it. They will bring other train wreck people into your life, and they will do it because it's delightful for them to see you cause strife. Agents of chaos are smug. They are full of themselves when they have no right or room to be. They are not people of a high echelon or class system in any capacity. They have no gravitas. They have no stick to itiveness. They have no call for routine. They do not understand security or stability. They literally go around like walking demons, and they are trying to ruin things. That's what they want to do. And don't let an agent of chaos bring another agent, like I was watching happen in my situation, of death and decay to you, because things will end. And we could talk about their karma and all this and that. What about that dharma, my friend? The dharma that she created, sociopath or not, will follow her, whether she wants to think that people will ever forget or it will be forgotten. Casey Anthony comes to mind, another agent of chaos, a liar through and through. If you watch that trial, lied about everything, including killing her child. Not allegedly. Fuck her. She did it. We all know she did it. She knows she did it. And she's just living like a princess somewhere, manipulating someone new. But there is an energetic print on her that will come through karmically. It happens absolutely and inevitably. You don't have to wish karma on your agent of chaos. They are their karma. They are their loss. They are their deep entrenched entitlement. Casey Anthony also reminded me of my agent of chaos when I was listening to her cuss out her parents when she was sitting behind the jail cell, and her parents are trying to find Casey, and excuse me, they're trying to find Kaylee, the daughter that she killed, and they're like, you got to help us out, sweetie. And she's like, can you get Bob or Rick or Brick on the phone? Jesus fucking Christ, what good are you? Like, total disrespect, wild Taliban energy that she had for her parents that were just trying to find Kaylee. That is absolutely the person that I knew. And there are so many, it's so crazy as that energy, as that relationship, and I divested because I was like, she's wild. There were so many people that my angels were like, hey, did you ever notice that she was just like this psychopath and this convicted killer and this person? And I was like, you know what? The similarities are astounding. Amber Heard is in the sect with them. I would not be surprised at all if we see Amber Heard once this is done in another mess, because she will be, because agents of chaos roam around looking to suck and destroy people's energy. She's eating this up. It's delicious to her, filling up her crazy cup. When someone is there and they just want to mess you up, that's an agent of chaos. You can't build ever with them. I was able to build more in the last couple years than I ever did with my so-called agent of chaos friend. 20 years of like, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. Well, it turns out I was doing all of the things. She was the thing holding me back. She can look at her life. What is it Juicy? Is it Juicy J? A little way. Look at me. Look at you and look at them. I don't know. It's a song, but it's like all my people are rich AF. It's not that word, but it's another word. But the point is, I'm not saying that word. But it's essentially like, look at you and look at us. All my friends are rich as fuck. Essentially, is what it is. When you, and I'm not talking about riches specifically monetarily. I'm talking about energetically. I spent so much time with an agent of chaos who was like condemned and determined and committed to poverty in every way. She wanted lack and chaos and crazy in every way she could have it. She would sabotage anything. And I thought it was me. Guys, do not think that you're the crazy in that situation. I promise you and guarantee you, when you leave, you will ascend. You will ascend. You will float away, up, up, and away. You will go, my friend. And that's why I say, look at you and look at us. Oh, my people are rich AF. Literally, for me, financially, it did work out that I got into a better space and am continuing to grow every day. But it happened in every way. Even my health that was so terrible was purging out the last of the toxicity associated with a lifetime of unhealthy, low vibrational relationships with agents of chaos. It wasn't just her. I couldn't put that all on her. That was a lifetime of accumulation. But I will say that with her, the dam broke. I don't think that I have happened what happened had we not had that moment in time. One moment in time. Had we not had that one moment in time, I don't think that I would have ended up in the way that I did. It's not her fault at all. We will purge physically what is happening metaphysically. I purged her the year before, and then last year I had to purge out the toxicity some more, and now I got a new body. Magic. Voila, magic. Anyway, pay attention to those people that are agents of chaos in your life, because yes, they're there to cause you poverty and strife. Yada yada yada. It rhymes. It's nice, but man, they're there really to fuck up your life. And if you don't believe me, watch Johnny Depp and Amber Heard's trial. It is a ish show if ever there was. It is a wild, wild ride, and yes, he partook. But see, that's what happens. You get into the vibration of that agent of chaos. And for 14 years, he may not have been a peach to his ex wife, but he wasn't what he ended up being with Amber, which was a prisoner. And then you start to fight back. I cannot tell you about all the low vibrational shadow side stuff that I had to deal with in my own thought patterns, because I was connected to two death demons that wanted nothing but nothing for themselves and for their children. And it wasn't me. I really understood that once I got away. I was like, "Ooh, eyes free, eyes free." We had a little ancestral role play too, as they were in Alabama and Caucasian, and I can be so tan sometimes. I'm black and blue in the best way. I love my skin and my melanin. They did not. And so I could not stay because I did not want to end up in a lynching kind of strange fruit way. You feel me? I've had that threatened to me by people before, actually, in my life that were my lover. So I thought, well, you just my bestie and you're what crazy. What could happen to me? I trust no one regarding that because I know our history. Now, sorry that got a little heavy, but that was my reality. Agents of chaos will bring that kind of energy into your life where I had to start thinking, are they going to take my life? Is she drugging me? She is taking drugs. Like, it was just a lot. That's not my life. Literally, none of the things that I think about. I think about happiness and colors and what next art show I'm going to do and what I'm writing and how many clients I have in a day and what I'm doing to pay my bills and how my credit's going up. These are the things I think about. Where I'm going to travel to. I am not thinking about the craziness, and I didn't even want to be in that. So understand when you need to divest. If they're working against you, then they are actually working against you. Don't second guess it, my friend. They're working against you. And I watched her. That's something I had the luxury of doing because I didn't know what I was going to do. I had a plan, but it was a little bit scattered at first. And then they were like, you need to put this together better, faster, stronger. Shout out to Kanye, who can also be an agent of chaos in his own way. But they said, you need to put this together better, faster, and stronger quickly because she is devolving very quickly and she will bring you down with her. There's something else that happens here. If you listen and you're obedient to get out when you are instructed to by your angels, like as soon as you hear to get out, you'll save yourself a lot of trouble later. I was very emotionally attached to her and to her child. And had I had stayed, I would have spent a lot of money probably bailing them out of situations at a later day. And now I pray energetically for him only, but she's a lost cause completely and totally. And so you need to know that. Sometimes, no, you're not saving everybody, empath. Don't save them. They don't want to be saved. I will always keep his name in my mouth and in my prayers, but my angel said I could not ever be around him, no matter what, because as long as she was on this earth, she would be there. So it's a no bueno. So, and that's easy for me because this wasn't a child I pushed out of me and the rest of it, though it was family for me. It was very hard for me. It was easy being that a lot of you guys are in a different situation where you're divesting from narcissistic people and companions that you actually have, biological children with. It broke my heart more than anything. I never understood how mothering I was until I had to walk away from the attachment to that kid. From her, I was like, bye, Felicia. But with him, it was tough. But I didn't love the I loved him so much that I thought, I'm going to serve you better energetically. I will cover you and pray for you absolutely and totally. And if your mother unalives herself or does some other reckless thing, then I will 1000% step in, even though she'll try to brainwash you, XYZ. Y'all know how narcissists are. They're wild. But he and I had our own telepathic connection since he was a child. And I honored that with him and never injured him. And he knows the truth of who his mother is. That's another thing. That's a message here for some of you guys that do have kids. Your kids know who the narcissist is. They know who's a wild person. He knows how many pep talks he had to give his mother. He knows what an agent of chaos she was in his life and how she couldn't really celebrate him and be really happy for him. And she was so depressed and so caught up in her own stuff that he didn't have anybody that mothered him. And that when she decided to leave the reservation, he was left to his own devices and he was just a kid. Mowgli, if you ever hear this, don't blame yourself for the last 2 years of your life or the last few years of your life. That was your mother, an agent of chaos who brought you strife. And I think you're old enough now. You're officially a man now. You get it. I tell no lies. In any case, back to you guys with the kids. Yeah, it's hard. That will be something you have to pray about. I'm hearing Kesha. I hope you're somewhere praying. Those narcissists don't pray. They just find new victims. And that's why I say divest, divest, divest from them. Agents of chaos only want to win. And I just couldn't contend the cruelty within her. And the fact that she was licking her lips and that she was getting away with murder and that she just thought it was delightful and delicious. And it was bringing out my shadow side. And I said, we can't have this. Not today, bish. So I had to get out. I advise you do the same. Otherwise, you're going to end up like Johnny on the stand talking about someone shitting your bed. What the actual what? That is not a place that any of us are supposed to be, guys. Not in any reality. We all have been a crazed ex maybe for a little bit, or you all have had a crazed ex, but there are limits. Are there not? No. With a narcissist, there are not limits. With an agent of chaos, there are no limits because they want clout and adoration. They want to be seen. And if they have to cut your throat, then bleed, baby, bleed. That will be what they decree, and they will do it as Amber Heard has done unapologetically. Anyway, message. Love you guys so much. Let me see if there's any comments. There are not. Rain, hey Mo. Hey, Rain. I will be talking to you, I believe, tomorrow. So we will have our session tomorrow, Rain. All right, guys. So good to share some energy with you. Come back and join me next time, and we will continue to evolve together.